I think you're live.
Well, I am live. As a matter of fact, you know what it is? I was making sure my co-host was ready here, Michael Bryant, because you have
my
a
four-legged
co-host.
co-host is not ready.
Okay, yours is not ready, but the reason why is Tubi is co-hosting with us. This is a very special Just to Serve TV. We are actually have turned off all ads. We are trying to do something to bring awareness to the fires in California and to the people that need help with their animals, with their dogs, with their cats, with their turtles, with their goats, with whatever. And so we're going to have a group of people on, including we're going to start off with one of our victims who really was the impetus for all this at Just to Serve TV. So we will see you on the other side of our opening. Stay with us.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
Okay, well, whoops, we dropped a dog. Hot dog.
You dropped your dog.
Yep,
That's
dropped the dog.
that's not a good thing. We're trying to be aware.
Oh, there he is. Wait,
Are you
hold on a
happy?
second. Hold on.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on a sec. I thought I had something for you. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. There we go.
Van Morrison. There's Domino. There's
Domino. You have your own theme song.
There we go.
This is Domino.
I love it.
Tubi.
I love it. I love it. And this is
And-
Tubi. Look at this. Look at this. Maybe this is what we should do all the time, right? Maybe this is with our dogs. To be or not to be. All right. Oh my gosh! Look at that. I love it. I love it.
Okay, so I'm sure we're gonna get a copyright strike, but it's a good cause. So.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a fair use for Domino for introducing the Tubi. I don't know if you can see. Tubi's wearing a bow tie. Tubi's not happy right now.
Domino, who's now exited the stage. Domino had a bow tie on as well.
Domino had a bow tie on.
Well, it's a very important occasion.
It is a very important occasion, and we're here. We're hoping that people join us as we try to raise awareness for what has happened out in California. Now, we know there's a lot of people that have lost their lives. We know a lot of homes have burnt down. We know the acres and acres of property. I don't even want to go through the numbers because they're getting worse every day. But there are a lot of organizations out there that are trying to help people. The problem is the dogs, right? Is the animals, it's the cats. And they're not just the cats, dogs, or not just the animals in the wild, but even people's puppies. That if your house burns down, where do you go if you have a rescue goat, a rescue turtle, a rescue parrot? Where do you go if you just have dogs? People don't want to take animals in. And so one of the things that we're going to do when he gets on will be the person who was the impetus for all this will be a friend of mine, David Tuchman. And let me just tell you, I was scrolling down the internet when these fires happened and scrolling down X Twitter. And I saw that he had posted a picture, which we'll let him talk about. I know he's having some problems with the internet because he's using his phone and all problems we're talking about. And I saw that his two kids' school burned down. His wife, I guess she's a teacher, her school burned down. And people don't realize that displaces you. Here's Tubi is like, okay, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this. I think I'll just go over here and sit down. But Tubi, if you could just sit, that would be nice. Okay, thank you very much. And so I said, what should we do? I mean, we have all of these assets. We have people that watch us live, and then we have people that watch us on our replay, which we plan to replay this episode. Maybe we can draw some attention to what is happening, and it is important because we do have some clips of some people that were finding their dogs right in California.
Yeah.
And
as we wait for Dave to come on, and we have a number of folks that are going to join us as we
yes, we do. We have Donald Moss, who runs an animal rights organization called Their Turn, and is also an animal rights newsletter. We have famed Jane Velez-Mitchell, who has Unchained TV, the founder, the host, and we'll talk about that. It's the one of the largest networks, the largest network for animal rights, to planet, for vegan, everything. Bonnie Klapper noted also animal rights, not just attorney, not attorney helping, but she's actually a noted attorney. I mean, her CV is unbelievable. We'll talk to her. We're going to talk to one or two people that run a animal rights rescue group, Tamerlaine organization in New Jersey. And so we're going to talk to them as we do all this. But as we're waiting for David to get on, and I think he may be, no, David's not yet in the green room. Let's wait for him to get on. Why don't we look at one of those? Good afternoon,
Okay, so
Brooklyn. Let's look at one of those we have.
So we're not collecting anything here. We're just raising the awareness and sending you to the organizations that you can help. So that's the goal here over the next 90 minutes. There's a video that to say it's gone viral is probably an understatement.
And can I just interrupt you? Could you send?
Of course. Why wouldn't you interrupt today? Go ahead.
Well, no. This is important. Or send me the link. I had to send it to him on his phone. The hotel internet. Remember, he is displaced and he's at a hotel. So what do you need? I need the link for him to sign on, for David Tuchman to sign on. He's having a problem getting on. The hotel internet is just not working for him. Okay, well, I will forward it to you. I think I sent it to you earlier, but I will forward it to you again now. In my text. I see Donny Moss is backstage if we have to go with him, but let's get this because, as you see, everyone is just displacing people. So okay, I just sent that to your email. So send it to my email. Okay, hold on. While you talk a little bit on it, I am going to hold on a second. Okay, let me get into this and you figure out what's going on there. Okay. This, like I said, to say this guy was a viral sensation is an understatement. So I want to show not just the video of this guy, and as soon as it starts, you'll know what's going on here. It's Calvin. Calvin is the guy. But then there's also a little bit of backstory, which is very interesting. So let's watch the event itself and go from there.
It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! Hi, Boo Boo! How's the fire? Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive! Oh, honey! Oh, whoa! 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 Yeah! You're scaring him. Yes!
You can take him back.
Oh, thank you, Jesus! Oh, thank you, God! NBC, where's NBC? Where are you, Liz? Thank you. Oh, honey, thank you. Oh, God almighty. Oh, Jane.
Well, to say, I wish he would be a little more open with his emotions. Not when he found the dog. Okay, so here's what's interesting. Let's look now at what is effectively the backstory, I suppose, when he was a little more composed. It is a great story, and what I've done is I've gotten a few different stories from across the Southland there that have been reported on various animals having been found and rescued, and the folks helping them do that. So this is Calvin. This is still Calvin, but this is sort of the backstory about how it all began and how this unfolded for him.
Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God!
My dog had been in the fires for 5 days. I started stuffing the missing dog flyers and all of my neighbors' burnt out mailboxes. I was desperate to get the word out. And I was driving through the neighborhood squeaking the squeaky toy on the bullhorn, trying to get my dog to come out. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and then I had a neighbor call me and said, "Your dog is sleeping in my chimney." I pulled up through the gate, way up the hill. I can see my filthy, confused, scared little boy. When Oreo went squeezing out from under the gate and we're reunited as a family, I was overjoyed. I felt like helium and oxygen were pumped into my lungs at the same time. My dogs are my children. That's the joy of a parent reunited with their child. It's pure joy. I love you, sweetheart. You all right? You good? Okay.
So he was so determined to
find... That is Oreo, the one that was found that was under the fence. But he already had with him, you saw maybe a little black dog. I think that dog's name was Tiki. And that dog had already been found. So just, maybe an over-the-top exaggeration of how people might feel inside and they aren't able to emote like like Mr. Colvin was. But yeah, that's the way I think we feel about our pets and our animals. And in this situation going on in Los Angeles, where we're so glad that, at least at this point, 24 people, I think, have died, which is an unbelievable miracle when you consider how many structures were lost, how many cars were lost. Oh, is 2B a part of the witness protection program or what?
2B is not happy that he is being used to raise money for other dogs, I guess. Or whatever that was. But you know what? While we were waiting, David Tuchman was able to get on. Donny Moss is also waiting in the background. But why don't we bring David on and I'll start explaining exactly what happened and why we're here and how we got here.
I'm just
there he is.
Hi, hello everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, I got you, David. So David, you and I are friends for a long time. We're friends through poker, right? And thank you for coming on. I know you had some trouble that I explained to everybody that you are displaced. You're in a hotel, your internet's not working, you're on your phone. But I was going through it. Michael, if you could put up the school picture I sent you.
Yeah, let me find that for you.
Okay. I was, just so everyone knows what happened here, I was scrolling through X, as you know, and I saw you, all right? I saw this, okay? I have no words to what's happening to my town. This is my wife's school. And I think I put something under there like, hey, buddy, you okay? And you got back to me and explained that you were displaced, that, your kid's school burned down, and you'll talk about this more. And I said, well, there's got to be something we can do to help. Do you need a place to live? And I tried to, give you a place here in upstate New York, but that didn't work out. And then we tried to get you, to a friend of mine, to a house. And unfortunately, they couldn't take your dogs inside. You'd say in the backyard. So that's where this all happened. So what do you do with your dogs? And so tell us about what's happening, why this is so important to you, where are your animals right now, and what's the charity that we're talking about that is taking care of your dogs right now, and your wife and your family and your kids too. I mean, tell us all.
Yeah, they're all important. First of all, thank you for bearing with us. I'm in a hotel, and for whatever reason, I could not get on this site. It was driving me nuts. But anyway, I'm here, so it's good. First world problems. Yeah, so we have 3 cats, 3 dogs, a pig, and a bunny. We have a zoo. And you can imagine, finding someplace to stay with all of that was very difficult. And fortunately, we have some great friends that were, able to take a pig, and some other friends that took a bunny, and some other friends that took the cats. But to get the dogs was quite difficult because, everybody's like, well, I'll take one. And, I through all of this trauma and everything that we've gone through, I know also the dogs have obviously gone through a lot as well. We're all dog lovers. And I was like, no, we have to find something that we could do together. And my wife kept calling her friends, and I was calling. And anyway, there's a great group here in Southern California called the Golden Retriever Southern California Rescue Group. And, we had worked with them in the past with a couple of studies for Golden Retrievers. Anyway, long story, as short as I can do it. Basically, I reached out to them, and this amazing woman named Delora got back to me right away and was like, hey, I'm going to find something for you. And not only, she didn't come up with one option, she came up with like 3 different options. One of the options was actually a firefighter, which just boggles my mind. I mean, here's a man who was, probably working 30-hour shifts and then 5-hour rest and then 30-hour shifts. And he was willing to take dogs. Anyway, we finally found a place, this wonderful place in Westlake Village. This wonderful family. They have a golden retriever, and they have another mixed. And they took our 3 in, and they've been sending me pictures. And the 5 of them are a pack. And it's such a relief for my wife and I, because it's just one less worry for us, knowing that they're loved and they're in a big backyard and they're playing and they're having a great time. And just for us, just kind of like put the pieces back together and figure out what's next, knowing that we don't have to worry about that. It's just, it's been amazing.
What town were you in? What town are you in? I know that town has a separate organization to try to help people, but not necessarily dogs.
Yeah, we're right in Altadena. So, I mean, where our house is, we're literally like a quarter mile from Eaton Canyon, probably, a quarter mile, a third of a mile from where the fire started. It was because of the wind, our house was somehow saved. Obviously, everything west of us is pretty much gone. My wife's school is gone. Both my boys lost their school. It's pretty devastating for the whole town. Like I said, like I said, the tweet, I have no words, but I guess you get through the fight or flight, and you just make sure that your family is safe and you're safe. And then you kind of look at, I look at my significant other, and we just kind of figure out, we're like, okay, what's next? Right. And then that was when it was like, okay, well, the animals are safe. We've got to find a place for them for at least 10 days or 2 weeks, just kind of like, so we can figure things out.
Well, I don't know if it's going to take, it may take longer than that. So
yeah,
give us the name of the organization again that's helping. And I think we have a little thing, Michael, on
Yeah,
it.
which one is this? And I've got a scroll going on the bottom for most of what I thought we had.
Yeah.
Which one? What's the name of this one that I'm looking for?
This is the Golden Retriever, the Southern California Golden Retriever group.
And that's, I don't think we have a logo for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? It's just a whole page. If you go to their whole page, you can find them, because they're very, I just printed it out and said, we're here to help. It's hard to see. But we have their names on our scroll going down here. Like all of you, the SCGRR is devastated by the news of recent fires across Southern California. And then if you go to their page, their website, if you Google them, it has a place that you can donate to them, and so and fundraisers. So this it's unbelievable. So they were that helpful, and I was looking at their page, David. They do a lot of rescue work, a lot of operation. I didn't realize how big they were in terms of that.
Yeah, and obviously, I think a lot of people kind of look at like golden retrievers and they're like, oh, it's just for golden. They'll help other dogs too. It's just like many groups, they have a focus on a specific breed in that sense. The other group that I'd love to shout out is just the Pasadena Humane Society.
Right.
We went down there and just it was great, the outpouring there. But I'm a big fan of the Pasadena Humane Society. It's fantastic. We got 2 of our cats there. They do amazing work. And if you can give, I think those are 2 amazing groups.
Yeah, and we do have that scrolling there, PasadenaHumane.org. Hey, David, let me ask you, so what's the plan going forward? Is the government helping, local or federal? What's happening?
We're just trying to figure it out and everything. So we're in a hotel right now. We're going to be here for about a week. And then, the plan was to move to, more permanent temporary housing.
That's a funny way to explain that. More permanent temporary housing, right?
Right. We're, like I said, our house was spared. So, the eventual plan is to get back into our home. And honestly, at this point, like, the housing issue is, to me, that's obviously a big part of it, but that's secondary, because I think we have something about 10 miles east of where we live in a town called Arcadia. So we'll move there for, whether it's 2 or 4 or 6 weeks, however long it takes. And then we can hopefully get back into our house. And then the bigger thing will just be, figuring out, schooling for, my wife. This was her second home, or the school. And to me, it was just the soul and the heart, the soul of the community, the school. It's where, I have an 11-year-old who went there and goes to the middle school now. And I have a 7-year-old who's in 2nd grade there. And my wife's been there for 12 years. And it's a very close-knit community. The school is as well. And to me, that's heartbreaking. And a lot of people and I tweeted this out on X, and I said, a lot of people, all my friends and everybody in the poker community, and they've been so generous, have reached out and said, hey, Tuchman, what can I do? What can we do to help you? And I said, we're going to be fine. I go, but if you really want to help, help rebuild our school. That was my message to everybody on X, and the outpouring has been amazing. But as for what's next, I wish I knew. I guess that what's next is, we're still under mandatory evacuation. I guess once that gets lifted, we go in there and we get a restoration group in there to kind of clean up the house and the smoke. We've had a lot of people in the community kind of offer to help clean our house and get it back in. Maybe we have to replace some things here and there.
But you're one of the lucky ones. You're basically one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, in terms of a house, then we get back in and and then kind of make it a home again, and hopefully kind of make it as well like a home for the people that we entertain a lot, and hopefully we can make it a home for the people that have lost their homes as well.
Okay, so what David suggests, though, in terms of his animals are are scattered about, but there's 3 Goldens are being taken care of by the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue. We've put all the links that you can donate to them. Nothing's going to us here at Justice Serve TV. We're just trying to raise awareness. So if you can watching this and you can open your purses and pocketbooks and wallets and whatever else you carry, any credit cards, Apple wallets, and whatever.
They'll take it all.
They'll take it all. And also the Pasadena Humane Society, which I've been following since you gave it to me, and they do some amazing things. I mean, the animals, the dogs that take in and help, and it really is a compassionate care for animals. So 2 fabulous animal groups. When do you expect that you'll be able to get your turtle, your pigs, your goat, your family back together? And I use that, as poor Tubi is sitting over there trying, Mom, I don't want to be on this. If you notice, I have pet toys with me right now. This is truly about the animals here. A little dog. When do you think that that's all going to be able to get you back together, whether it's in temporary housing or whatever?
Yeah, once we get the temporary housing, I think we'll get them all back together. So the hope is next Wednesday, next Thursday, at least we'll be all together again. And the hope is that will be the last stop until we get back into the home. And obviously, as you know, I want to make sure, it's not just a matter of, obviously I'm worried about my kids, my family, and the smoke and the ash and all that, but it's also a matter of all the debris and the wind that was so horrific that blew stuff into our backyard. We really want to make sure that the backyard is safe for the animals as well.
And you've rescued a lot of these animals. I should say that you've rescued. Yeah, right. I mean,
one of our cats. So one of our cats during COVID, I came home and my wife says, "You can't go in the boys' bathroom." And I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "Oh, I rescued a cat." Turns out the cat was pregnant. So we kept the cat for a while during COVID. And then, of course, we had to keep one of the kittens. We found homes for the rest of them and the mom, but we kept one of the kittens. This bunny, I swear it has 9 lives. It's like a cat itself. The bunny is pretty amazing. So the bunny was actually Aveson School, the school that burned down, my wife's school. It was actually the school bunny. And over the summer, they have chickens as well there. And over the summer, there was a bobcat. It's right into Eaton Canyon. It's right next to the thing, right next to the mountain. There apparently was a bobcat or a coyote incident, and the chickens got killed, unfortunately. And they called up my wife. We were out of town, and they were my wife was like, "Where's the bunny?" Anyway, they found the bunny, and they were like, "Well, what do we do with the bunny?" And my wife immediately goes, "Well, we have a backyard. We have a little wooden fence area that we have a pig and everything. Just put it in there and kind of cordon it off, and we'll put the bunny in there." Anyway, of course I knew. My wife was like, "Oh no, we're just gonna keep the bunny for a couple of weeks, and then we'll put it back to school." I knew better. This is now our bunny. But I kind of think about it. I go, the school kind of was pushing us to get the bunny back. And if the bunny had gone back to the school, this bunny is dead. Oh. So I mean, the bunny, I don't think realizes just how lucky this
probably not. No.
This bunny
the bunny's really lucky. It's now survived a fire. It's got great parents.
Coyotes, bobcats. Yeah, this bunny has dodged death a couple of times.
Yeah. No, it's a great because
well, it's got 4 rabbit's feet, so it's got to be lucky, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But no, it's great to see that you've survived a quarter mile from where the fire started. But you needed help with your animals, and that's why again, if you can donate all to the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue, to the there's a GoFundMe for the Eaton Fire in Aveson that you can go find, and also to the Pasadena Humane Society, which, by the way, the Pasadena Society is the small group, right? The Pasadena Humane is the designated evacuation center for small animals, right? And they're taking everybody. Large animals, the designated center is the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds in Lancaster, California. So, I mean, there's all these organizations, and we're just focusing on the 2 that basically have helped David and his family, David Tuchman and his family, trying to get through this.
I mean, I can't say enough about both of them. Like I said, I mean, I just don't know. Obviously we all love our animals, but they're our kids, and there are, and I just don't know what we would do if, try finding a hotel that'll take 3 dogs, 3 cats, a pig, and a bunny. It just doesn't exist. So we feel pretty blessed that with all the support we've gotten, and obviously Pasadena Humane Society and the Golden Retriever Fund has really helped.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention. You get LKB going on something, and watch out. step back. So we're grateful that you were there for her to stumble upon and your friendship, and now hopefully we'll spread the word and get a little more support for these important organizations. Best of luck to you and the family.
Thank you. And well, listen, if I'm when I get home, I have a much better. I have actually a professional setup. I'm a broadcaster by trade, so I feel so like unprofessional. I'm like on my phone, but. Anyway,
yeah, shame on you for not having a more professional setup. What is wrong with you?
I should have done it anyway. Hey, thank you both for doing this. Seriously, no matter what it weighs is, I think it's great.
Yeah, we'll be rerunning this tomorrow on a loop on Justice Serve TV on YouTube, and that's usually when it gets the viewers and people pay attention and all. But we wanted to do it live tonight to get it started. So thank you, David. Hello to your wife. Hello to your animals.
Take care, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, and wow,
okay.
And I have no words for.
They were lucky, and yet still having the struggles that folks have because there's a lot to the families these days.
Now,
go ahead. Why don't you introduce our next guest?
Our next guest is my friend Donald Moss. Donald actually helped procure all of our guests for tonight after I told him what my idea was. Donny is a well-known animal rights activist. He runs Their Turn organization, and I think we have that somewhere in our scroll in the bottom going on. And he also has an animal rights newsletter. It's called On X, and if you go to him, Donny is the font, at least in New York City, for me to go to for all animal rights. So I'd like to see if we can get Donny on.
So
he was backstage. You're still there. There you are,
I'm
Donny.
here. Can you see me?
There you are. Yeah,
I got you. Donny, hi,
Gotcha.
Michael Bryant. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Thanks
Appreciate you being here. So, give us your story. What's your involvement with the organization, and how can everybody help?
Yeah, I know your organization support all the animal rights organizations support each other, I think, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure, we're all in this together. I mean, I think a lot of animal rights activists, we have this wiring that we were born with, and many of us saw something, a video about factory farms or slaughterhouses, or companion animals, and we sort of made the decision that we wanted to fight for the animals. They need our voices, and this wildfire in California is just the ultimate case in point. Actually, all natural disasters are. We're talking about the dogs and the cats, but during natural disasters, really the vast majority of animals who are in trouble.
We lost you a little bit. At least I lost the sound a little bit.
Oh, can you hear me?
There you go. You got him? Okay, they got you. Okay.
Yeah, most of the animals who suffer in these natural disasters are actually farm animals and factory farms, because like in North Carolina, when a hurricane went through there and there were floods often and fires during hurricanes, often you have tens of thousands of animals who are stuck, and they're stuck in cages and crates, and they have no way to escape. And unlike our companion animals who have names and personalities and are individuals, and we treat them as such, the other animals who have, like chickens and pigs and cows, who have every bit, and horses who have every bit as much a right to live and be cared for and be rescued, they're stuck, and they're just oftentimes just regarded as commodities. And when you see the news coverage of the factory farm, the losses in these factory farms during natural disasters, they often refer to the financial losses of the industrial animal agriculture operations, instead of the about what these victims endured when they drowned or they burned in these fires. So as an animal rights activist, I'm thinking about a lot more than just the dogs and cats who are lost, who are stuck in these homes.
What do you do about people? What do you do about the animals that I remember when Australia had the fire, right? And it just devastated the forest, and you had the koala bears. People go out and find them. How can people help if this is an evacuation area? Because you may have a lot of animals there, right? You may have horses that are there, cows that are there, that no one's talking about, because everyone says, well, you got to get the humans, or the house is worth $25 million, or the antiques out of the art gallery. How do you manage this now?
Well, so often you'll see on social media, and Jane Velez-Mitchell, your next guest, can talk about this sort of more personally because she's on the ground in Los Angeles, but you have an army of people who will get online and say, I've got a trailer, I can rescue horses, tell me where there are horses in need, and I'll come up and I'll rescue them. You know, in New York City, every year there's this sort of ritual slaughter of chickens where about 100,000 chickens are slaughtered in the streets. And unbeknownst to the people who are actually partaking in this slaughter, there's a massive behind the scenes rescue operation where animal rights activists and rescuers are actually rescuing chickens from the streets, hundreds, sometimes thousands of them, and triaging them and bringing them to sanctuaries all around the country. And so there are all of these things that happen behind the scenes that sort of the mainstream public wouldn't know about. And so look, obviously most of the attention, 95% of the attention is on the humans who are in trouble during these natural disasters. But the animals, the ones who are at least likely able to sort of take care of themselves, don't get much attention. And so we need to be their voice, and we need to be their arms and legs too, in times of crisis.
And that's when I told David, I said, look, we want to do this to try to get some kind of awareness out there that we can rerun this on, keep rerunning this. Just because we had picked the two animal rights organizations that are out there that helped him, the Golden Retriever one that he mentioned, that we've got the scrolling on the bottom, and the Pasadena Humane, who apparently does a lot. It's unlike another humane society in the East Coast, Pasadena Humane, apparently, they do incredible God's work in terms of taking care of animals, and I'm watching the operations that they're doing on animals that are being brought in and trying to save their lives, and it's quite amazing. But that's and I say the word loosely, pets, because I don't think animals are pets. I mean, there are children, right? There are kids. So you see me with Tubi, who's lying here. I mean, if I could show you this. I don't know if you can see Tubi over there. He's lying across, right? You just see, he's having a great old time. I tried to put a leash on him to get him to come here, but he said no.
No, he's like, part of the union. He needs some better contract.
And so there are kids, there are members. I could know, just like David, I could no longer go anywhere without Tubi. I mean, poor Michael, I'd probably have to say, Michael, you're on your own. You can deal with it. You can get there. I kid a little bit.
It's our job as activists, Linda, to help people connect the dots between the companion animals we love and all of these other animals who we eat and who we wear and who we experiment on and who we use as entertainment. Just last week, I was at Madison Square Garden protesting the rodeo. Right. Where it's both bull riding, really, which is a rodeo event. And right here in New York City, you've got, a progressive, city with a lot of thoughtful people. You've got people, using weapons to provoke these cows, these gentle creatures who, they're just like a big bundle of love, and they're tormenting them with weapons to make them buck. And they're transporting them around the country in trailers, subjecting them to all kinds of horrible, weather and physical abuse, and they're confused and they don't know why they're there. And and again, so I'm here to say, let's think about the animals, our companion animals, our children, as you say, Linda, but also all the other animals. Let this be a turning point for people who really haven't considered all of the animals who deserve to be rescued every bit as much as our own animals who bring us so much joy.
That's great, Donny. Thank you so much for that. I know you have opened my eyes. I have stopped wearing a brand of clothes because of some animal rights issues. But right now, let's again try to focus on, yes, there it is, their turn. And you have a website, right? And I would say, I mean, we couldn't put it all up there, but
it is scrolling on the bottom, though.
It's scrolling on the bottom, and you keep everybody up to date, and you can follow you on X, as it's now called X, Twitter, as I like to say, for people that still haven't labeled as Twitter, and raise that awareness. And we hope that everyone can open their hearts to at least right now, at least if they can, to the SCGRR who helped David, to the Pasadena Humane. And then as we get past this Eaton Fire, look beyond a little bit, look beyond to try to say, look, let's try to help all of the animals in need and remember that they're out there. And this fire is going to try to open our eyes to how many wild animals that are in our homes and animals that need help besides the people, at least the people have a system set up that hopefully FEMA will help set up. And as you can see, David is one of the lucky ones, a quarter of a mile from the fire, and his house is standing. But his animals, went with him. I mean, he wasn't leaving without taking his turtle and his bunny and, as you could say. But
So,
thank you, Donnie.
And Donnie, I mean, your cause, Donnie, I mean, it's year round, it's broad, it's wide ranging. But if something like this can bring attention to what you're doing, then at least we can get some good out of.
Look,
this horrible situation.
I advocate on behalf of companion animals every bit as much as I do farm animals and animals, who are stuck in aquariums at SeaWorld. To us, they're all the same, and humans are animals. We're all animals. And to the extent that we could all take care of each other, especially in such, in difficult times like this, it raises us all up.
And before I let Donnie go, I have to tell you that he is so wonderful. That when we go to his house with his family, Tubi comes also and is standing on his couch, having dinner just with the rest of us. Tubi the poodle, again, who's here looking beautiful, saying, "No, I'm just not going to go up there on TV."
You're not invited back unless you bring Tubi.
No, so really, you're going with Tubi that's the reality. Okay.
He's the best. He's the best. Thank you, Don. And thank you for helping with getting all this stuff. This is a big project.
Thank you both for doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donnie.
Best of luck with everything.
Thanks. You too.
Take care.
All right. And go ahead, Michael.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
You go. Oh, I was going to say, I want to run a little piece of video before we bring on Jane. Jane is standing by, Jane Velez-Mitchell, who we both have some history with. She is so great. And I regret not having better kept up with her during, the media biz, you know what it is.
Right,
but we are going to catch up with her in just a moment. But I want to share again another one of the little pieces of video from those who have rescued animals in this area of Southern California. Just a little quickie here, and then we'll bring on Jane.
At the Whittier Dog Club, though they may be far from the flames, one of their guests has been at the center of the Eaton Fire.
But if it wasn't for us to come and rescue him, who knows what would have happened.
At the height of the fire on Tuesday, Chris Abkarian got a call saying this pup, Max, was surrounded by flames.
I didn't hesitate. I just went right towards him.
Home by home, the Eaton Fire was raging toward Max.
When we got there, it was just black smoke and fires everywhere. The entire scene was devastating and apocalyptic. Houses are burning.
Photographer Gabe Cortez captured these images as Chris arrived.
This poor dog was isolated in the yard while the house next to it is burning down.
With the help of some first responders, they approached the timid dog.
He's scared and nobody can get him because he's trapped inside this front yard.
But they were successful as the surrounding community burned.
Hi, buddy.
Max was relocated to the Whittier Dog Club, where he has something in common with all of these pups. All were rescued or displaced by fires in LA. If only they could tell their stories.
You don't know what went through his mind. The soot and the smoke was ridiculous for a human like myself. You can imagine dogs have 1,000 times more scent glands.
But in a way, through these photos,
come here,
Max shared more of a story than first believed.
One thing that Max really brought us was our voice.
These photos captured more than just a dog in the line of fire. They also captured a community's desire to help not just humans displaced by the flames, but furry friends as well.
So great story there of a firefighter helping rescue an animal. So
I want to cry. I want to cry. That was
okay,
so
go
beautiful.
ahead. I will wait for you. Go ahead.
No, I really,
Okay.
that was really, you know, it just goes to show you. And you look at around, I mean, this fire is burning around. And of course, I know we're going to get a lot of comments like, where are the parents, right? Why is that dog there? Where are the parents? But we don't pass judgment because we don't know the story. We don't know if the flames came, you know, those flames came fast, as we're about to find out. So why don't we talk about our next guest, who is in California, world famous. Jane Velez-Mitchell is so kind to join us. And let me tell you a little bit. She is the founder, as you know, of Unchained TV. It's the world's premier plant-based streaming TV network for animals, people, and the planet. And I haven't seen Jane since you were here in New York and I was on your show, but I think you are doing, as they say, God's work, and God is an animal as far as I'm concerned, right? You know.
All right, interesting perspective.
Yes.
Jane, how are you?
It's either a female or an animal. I hate to say that, Michael.
I'm doing great, Michael, Linda. It's so great to see you guys. I live south of the fires, so I wasn't affected, but I actually was affected by the smoke. The smoke was so intense that it affected people 20, 30 miles away. I was in the fire zone yesterday because Unchained TV is doing a special report, and it's an apocalyptic scene. I've covered fires for decades. I have never seen a fire like this. Malibu, the scenic, iconic stretch, it's a war zone. The Palisades, it looks like it was bombed out. It's unbelievable when you see the cars too, car after car after car. Just it's really it's surreal. You almost are shaking yourself saying, can this really be? But it is. And you know, Pacific Palisades, oh my gosh, you know, half of Hollywood at least lives there. People think, oh, you live in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, but really the writers and a lot of the people who are behind the scenes, the producers, they live in Palisades. So it's really a tremendous loss.
Yeah, I was trying to say, and the reason I started with David is, as you probably heard, is, you know, I was like, are you okay, bud? Because, you know, everyone thinks that because they read about these $100 million mansions or $25 million mansions, this affect regular working people. When David's a regular working guy, his wife is a teacher, he's got 2 kids, he's got all the animals you heard. I mean, this displaced everyone, all right? And he's lucky enough to have gotten some help from the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue and from Pasadena Humane. But it's without these groups, you know, it just, we ran at the beginning of the show, you know, the clip of Oreo. Was it Oreo? Is his name?
Yes, my friend Jane Garrison rescued. She was one who found
the one who did that. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Here's the thing. It was great, but for the one Oreo rescued, there's a lot of other animals up there. I saw traps that were left, and I don't know if somebody's going to check that trap to see if there's an animal that goes in there, because they keep blocking people from going in. My personal feeling is if you're a homeowner and you want to sign a waiver and say, I want to go in, they should let you in. Sure, you want to stop the looters, but let's face it, if you show a photo ID that says I live in the Palisades and that's the address and I'm going to sign a waiver that I take responsibility, I think they should let those people in, because a lot of those people are desperate to find their animals. But I would like to say something, if I may.
You can say anything you want. This is a
wake-up call. As you mentioned, I have Unchained TV, which is the world's premier plant-based streaming network. You can get it for free on your phone, 2,000 videos. It's also on the TV behind me. You can also watch it online at unchainedtv.com. And several years ago, I did a documentary called Countdown to Year Zero, which made the case that we only have a few years to transition to a more sustainable culture, or we are bye-bye. It was Sir David Attenborough who has said in a great documentary called Breaking Boundaries that we only have about 9 boundaries, and we're already breaking through about 6 of them. We're talking about things like melting glaciers, wildlife extinction. We are on track to completely wipe out all wildlife except animals in zoos, you know, within a few years. And that's a World Wildlife Fund saying that. So this is really a wake-up call. We need to transition to more sustainable lifestyles. Now, currently, all anybody's talking about is fossil fuels. But the fact is, animal agriculture is at least a leading, and you can make a pretty strong case, the leading cause of climate change. Now, it's a very big issue, so it depends on when you started calculating it. Did you start 40 years ago or 5,000 years ago? But the truth is, if you want to boil it all down, we've given planet Earth a buzz cut to grow crops to either feed the 92 billion land animals we kill every year,
92 billion,
or to let them graze. If we reforested that land, we could start immediately begin to absorb carbon, because trees absorb carbon, and that would immediately begin to return the Earth's temperatures back to pre-industrial times. Nobody wants to talk about this. Why? Mainstream media, look at the TV commercials, fast food and pharmaceuticals. Of course, they're not going to talk about it. The government is actually fueling the climate crisis with its massive subsidies to animal agriculture. So we got to wake up. We can't pretend that the murder suspect who is sitting in the gallery laughing is not the real culprit while we put the getaway driver on trial for murder. This is what's happening right now.
You know, Jane,
Let me ask Jane a question, because we kind of came up through true crime together. Where did this passion come from?
Oh, everybody says, I love your passion. And it's funny because it's like, I want to sit on a beach reading a trashy novel. I'm running this. Do not take a salary. This is a 501c3 nonprofit, because I can't sit around enjoying my day knowing that we are unnecessarily destroying our planet. Okay? We only have a few years left to get real about the real causes of climate change. The COP conferences have achieved nothing, nada. They are a joke. Let's be real. Climate change is just getting worse, and they have conference after conference. Why? Because they're not addressing the real causes. I'm sure you've heard of the 80-20 rule. 20% of factors create 80% of the problems. That's animal agriculture. We could eliminate starvation, human starvation on this planet. Because people say to me, that's nice, Jane, but I care about people. Well, I care about people too. There are many, many people, a good percentage of the entire human race that is suffering from malnutrition and starvation right now. Why? Because we're feeding a lot. You could make the argument most of the food that we're growing to farmed animals, who are a very inefficient food source. 85% of all the soy produced is fed to farmed animals. People don't realize that. So we've got world hunger, we've got climate change, we've got wildlife extinction, all of these things. The wildfires are just an appetizer to what's to come. It's like that movie, Don't Look Up. And people say, well, you're so strident. It's like, well, somebody's house is on fire. Am I going to go in there and say, hey, tap you on the shoulder? Hey, that's a great program, but I have something to know. You're going to say, get the hell out. This is what we're saying. It's a wake-up call.
It's interesting because that David Attenborough documentary, which was on Netflix, I don't know if you can still get it there. It opens up and you're like, whoa, right? And it tells you about this is the way it's going to be and this is going to look. It's almost like a Terminator beginning, right? And then by the Terminator tells you what we can do. And part of that, doing it, is helping the animals. And that's part of it. So it's an interesting wake-up call. And these fires, a wake-up call. But in terms of the animals in these fires, what do you do with the fact that this could extinguish a lot of the I don't want to say wild, but animals that live in the wild out there in California? How does that work into it?
It's an excellent question. We're barreling toward complete wildlife extinction. We're killing wildlife at such an extraordinary rate. And these fires obviously exacerbate that. You've got owls, you've got deer, you've got coyotes. And yes, coyotes deserve to live too. It's their land. You've got possums and skunks and squirrels and all sorts of wildlife. And they're being killed. There is one video that was the most horrific video, I think, of this entire fire. And that was just a woman playing at night, the screaming wildlife. And I'm saying screaming. They were screaming in the dark because they're
dying. They're being burned.
They're burned and they're dying. And the thing is that people like to just focus on the narrow, what I call disaster pornography. That's what mainstream media engages in, disaster pornography. Even on CNN, some woman said, who was a victim at the end of the interview, wait a second, I got to say one more thing. We got to get our heads out of the sand. This is climate change. Thank you. Okay, next. They don't want to discuss it. People don't, because they think disaster porn equals ratings. And I'm not pointing out CNN. I love CNN. I work there. They're great people. It's all media, There's a few independent media like The Guardian, which operates on a trust, so they don't have to worry about advertisers, Vox, The Intercept, and Unchained TV, which I urge you to download. It's absolutely free and nonprofit. But the point is that we're not the big voices. These big voices have to get real, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you can't walk outside on the street without collapsing in the heat, which is already happening to delivery people in Arizona in the summertime, it's not going to be much of a world where you could spend much money on anything.
Are you aware of the going back to what David said, the two organizations, the Pasadena Humane, because people start thinking, you start thinking small to get big. The Golden Retriever, the SCGRR, to help people when they say, okay, now this is where we can help with our animals, and they can start thinking big. Are there programs to do that from these organizations?
Yes, we have the Plant-Based Treaty, and you can go to plantbasedtreaty.org and get involved. That is feeding people plant-based food. Somebody called me and they said, I want to help. I want to give dog food to the animals. I said, well, if it's dog food that contains cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, and lambs, you're contributing to the problem, because animals in the United States, domesticated animals, would be the 5th largest meat-eating country in the world. I have 2 dogs. They're vegan. They're doing fine. I've been vegan 29 years. I'm doing fine. The biggest complaint that I get is lower your voice, calm down.
Less veggies, Jane, less veggies.
Fewer veggies. Yeah. So
broccoli.
Yeah. So the point is that this is all unnecessary, but how do we wake people up? Like, okay, I'm 29 years sober. Okay. Hopefully in 2 months, I'll be 30 years sober. April 1st, April Fool's Day. Very appropriate day.
Congratulations.
And, I thought that alcohol was my solution. I found out, no, it was my problem. It's the same thing with the diet that we have today. We think that that's our solution. When these disasters happen, let's have a barbecue and barbecue some animals. No, that's the problem. It's not the solution. So
somehow
we're urging people to use this as a wake-up call. I know Linda's leaving. She's going to
No.
She's wrangling.
I'm
She's wrangling her dog.
Toby doesn't want to help. He says,
Hold on a second. I'm going to get my
Okay, wait a second.
Come here.
I've lost control.
No, I'm coming
That
back.
assumes I had control at some point, which we know is
I'm
not.
coming back. I'm coming
Oh,
back.
hey, there we go. Look at that little pooch.
Oh, yeah, there we
Little
go.
poochie.
I have
Wait a
2.
second.
Jane, what's the doggy's name?
Wednesday.
Let me guess. Is it a he or she? That's because I can
That's
go
a
either way.
girl.
The girl. When
She
did
was
you get
rescued
Wednesday?
on a Wednesday.
Was it? There you go. Okay.
And you see, David Tuchman, who started this, he rescued all his animals. I think you heard he rescued the turtle, he rescued the bunny, he rescued all his animals. And Donny rescued Tubi, I'm afraid, was not a rescue, but he rescued me.
There you go.
Aw, I love it. How about you, Michael? Where are your...
My dog has made the cameo appearance and left. Yeah, left. Yeah. Didn't have enough time for me, I guess.
Yeah, guys, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to make a case. It is like that movie, Don't Look Up. Did you ever see that one?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, one of my very good friends, Mark Rylance, is in it, right?
It's so good because it totally captures that idea that people are like, why are you so strident? Because this is not hypothetical or theoretical anymore. This is just the appetizer. It is going to get so much worse. I urge you to go on Unchained TV and watch Countdown to Year Zero, because basically it profiles a systems analyst who had worked with Al Gore and who tried to get Al Gore. He's a brilliant systems analyst, worked at Intel for decades, was very instrumental in accelerating internet speeds. And he saw an inconvenient truth. He said, I'm going to get involved. And then he did research because he's brilliant. And he realized we're not including animal agriculture in this equation. He talked to Al Gore. Al Gore didn't want to deal with it. although I believe Al Gore is vegan now, but this was a while ago, but he didn't want to make that a part of his whole, we call it the really inconvenient truth. And so he split from Al Gore and started working on his own. And basically he's saying that what we really need to do is eat plants, plant trees. Okay. If we reforested the earth, we would solve the climate crisis. And, in fossil fuels, there are also cooling agents. So if you just attack fossil fuels, you're actually reducing the cooling agents that are in fossil fuels, and you're, to a certain degree, accelerating climate change. So we've really got to bring that into the equation. And there are cities like West Hollywood now that are embracing the plant-based treaty. So we're making strides, but I just really hope these fires, which are apocalyptic, are a wake-up call for people. I don't think they are, frankly. If the pandemic, which was a zoonotic disease, I don't care whether you think it started in the Wuhan lab where they were torturing animals, or you think it started in the Wuhan wet market where they were torturing and killing animals. It's a zoonotic. Now we have the bird flu coming down the pike. That's also a zoonotic. What's it going to take to wake people up?
So you mentioned you're getting some traction, right? Overall, how's it going? Are you making significant inroads? Is it just a constant battle? What?
Well, we're making significant inroads. If you think about it, veganism is, as a term, it was only in the Oxford Dictionary for the first time in 1962. And when I went vegan 29 years ago, people called it vagin, sounded a little X-rated, Nobody had a clue. Now, of course, everybody knows it. And you have major stars like Billie Eilish who are vegan and all sorts of people. It's much bigger. The question is it growing at the rate it needs to grow? We are 8.1 billion humans. And it's really hard to convince these people. That's why anytime I have a chance to talk to, the general public, like with this wonderful platform, I do, because there's too many people to talk to them one-on-one. We are making headway. The dairy sector is our biggest, the non-dairy sector is our biggest win so far. You can see it when you go into the supermarkets. Non-dairy milks are taking more and more of the space.
Sure. The almond milks,
Yeah, those are very successful, and we've managed to make everything you can try with a meat or dairy based, you can do plant based. So
I've always
vegan
wondered,
yogurt,
Jane,
vegan ice cream. Go ahead.
how do you milk an almond exactly? How does that? Uh-oh. Hotline. The hotline's ringing.
Hotline, they're calling. Another
Okay.
person just went vegan. Go ahead.
I was just curious how you milk an almond. I wasn't sure how they got the almond milk. So I was just.
Actually, there are these little devices you could buy if you want to do it yourself. Sounds like you're into it a little bit.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna check it
It
out.
just came out. I just read an article that the best source of protein you can have is eating a bean. Beans.
Yeah.
The best source of protein. Anyhow,
when's the last time you went to a doctor and were told you had a protein allergy? It's a made-up problem.
Yep.
Anyhow, well, thank you very much. We're hoping again for the small, starting with my friend, as I said, who I saw. And I said, "Can I help you in any way, buddy?" And the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue Group came to his aid, and Pasadena Humane came to other people's aid, just to talk about families being together. And I know a lot of people that rescue animals are vegan. And even if you don't rescue animals, a lot of our friends are vegan. You go to restaurants here in New York, there's always vegan options now. When I was growing up, you didn't see that. You didn't see it.
No, it's much better. And I hope you guys just thank you for spreading the word. We've got to spread the word.
Jane. Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. We appreciate you
so
coming
nice
on.
to see you. I'm going to connect with you
to see you
offline. That's not a promise or a threat. That's going to happen. I will connect it because I'm curious to see what you're up to other than this, but everybody should be checking this out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for thank you very much for helping bring attention to Dave, and of course Donny with their turn, and you. And then we're gonna go next to Bonnie Klapper, who's been waiting in the wings, who I know I have never met, trying to get the word out to help the animals. Thank you, Jane. And so Michael,
before we do that, let me jump in here because because I took such great pains to come up with a couple of these little videos.
No,
so
you did. You
we
did
definitely
great
should
with
be
these
looking
videos,
at. I mean,
right.
some of them you may have seen, some not. I was surprised to see some of these rescues. This was actually an interesting rescue of, let's just say more than just dogs. We were talking a lot about dogs, but
as fires ignited across LA, forcing thousands from their homes, horses, donkeys, and even a giant pig, all among those also needing to get out.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
This woman evacuated her 175-pound tortoise Tiptoe.
This is no good. This is no good.
How do I get to my house?
and then
The
there's our friend.
Palisades, a first responder, reuniting this man with his beloved dog.
What's her name or his name?
Tika, Tika, Tika.
And now at the Pasadena Humane Society, an overwhelming outpour. Donations of blankets, food, air filters, so many in the community jumping in to help.
The shelter has taken in more than 400 animals over the past 2 days. Some of them dropped off by evacuees looking for a safe place for their pets, others by Good Samaritans who found them wandering amidst the chaos.
So one of the animals that I transferred out is this cat.
Inside, veterinarians tending to so many animals.
At first, I didn't know where they were all going to go. I didn't know if we had the number of hands to take care of them.
This cat covered in soot, even a peacock.
Any animal that's out there, either owned or wild, we're going to be expecting to see them.
Rachel Meach says she had to come help.
So it's pretty cool to help out and just be a part of this community that loves animals.
A reminder that through the horror, the best of humanity shines through.
People are good. With all the bad stuff that's going on, people are good. And it's great that the community is helping each other.
Liz Kreutz, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
All right.
right.
Thank you, Lester. Yeah, I mean, so just a sample, and obviously we heard from our friend Colvin there, the man who rescued both Tiki and Oreo. Okay,
Oreo,
let's get to Bonnie, shall we? Did you want to do a big build up, or should I bring her on right now?
No, bring her on. I told you, Bonnie,
here we go.
Bonnie has her at. If you look at her X, she's at Klapper Bonnie. She's vegan for the animals and the planet. She also had another way you explained your animal activity. But I have to tell you that when Donny first we haven't met Bonnie, and we're right here in New York. And when I was reading your Wikipedia page and your page, I mean, you have to look her up. She's an amazing attorney, just an amazing attorney. I mean, she took down a drug cartel. All right. And if she can take down a drug cartel, she can bring attention to the animals that need rescuing, saving, and the animal organizations that help people, like help David Tuchman in this time of need. Just my one little friend to bring this show together to try to say, hey, we have to pay attention to the animals. We have to, know that when you have these disasters, we have to rescue the animals as part of the family. I mean, as you can see, here's Tubi. He doesn't want to really be cooperative. Tubi the poodle. But hi, welcome. Nice to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person here in New York.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So I'm gonna disappear for just a moment because I hear Domino, and I think he's gonna get jealous. So
he's gonna bring Domino is his son, dog son. He and his wife Lisa's dog son. Tubi says, "Okay, I've had enough of this. All right, I'm going to see you. Bye, honey." All right. So I know you also had another description of how you describe your animal rights work.
Well, first of all, we don't have any dogs barking in the background because I've locked my husband in the bedroom with all the dogs. So let's make it last 3 or 4 hours.
I love it. Mine keeps coming in like, do you need help? Do you need help?
Well, mine, so I figured it'd be the best thing to have them on the show. It's interesting that you mentioned the cartel work because some years ago I gave a talk about how animal agriculture and cartels are the same or similar, factory farming, big ag, and cartels, and how we can go after both of them using the same tools. But that's not why I'm here today. You've had people like Jane and Donny, brilliant leaders in the animal rights veganism movement. I couldn't hold a candle to what they had. So if it's okay with you, Linda, I'd like to just focus on the rescue aspect of what's happening.
Absolutely. This is your platform. Go ahead.
Thank you. So as you mentioned, I was a federal prosecutor. About in 2012, I retired and started doing international criminal defense. And then I was fortunate enough to meet Donny, became a vegan, cut my private practice in half. And now I spend about 50% of my time doing pro bono work for animal rights activists, liberation organizations. I'm a dog lover. I'm allergic to cats, sorry. And dog rescues. And a little plug here, a couple weeks ago, my rescue partner, Brandy Shervin, and I started our own rescue, Run to the Rescue. We were supposed to fly in 12 dog.
Let's go back. Run to the Rescue. Does it have a website?
Yes, we're Run
Okay.
and the number 2 and then the Rescue.
Okay, so Missy, who's our producer, is going to maybe try to put that on there. Run to the Rescue, just like to be is to be, as in, to be or not to be.
And well, at the moment, our social media is down because Meta, in its infinite wisdom, keeps freezing our account. We don't know why. But the only reason I mentioned that rescue is we were set to fly into Los Angeles this week.
Oh, wow.
12 dog meat trade survivors.
Wow.
Some people are not aware of the fact that in China and other countries as well, including 2 cities in Switzerland, they eat dogs and they celebrate the eating of dogs. It's not just the Yulin Dog Meat Festival. It's 24/7, 365 days. China's dog meat trade is particularly horrible because there's a belief that the more pain the animal is in when he dies, the better the meat. But we have enough things to talk about. We don't have to talk about that too much. But
wow,
it is. Animals are suffering everywhere. And rescues are overwhelmed and underfunded. People will frequently here in New York condemn the ACC, which is our public shelter. I've read condemnations of the Los Angeles Animal Shelter. What most people don't understand is those shelters survive mainly, but not totally, on public funding, on the cities, the towns where they're located. This is not a moneymaker for the cities and towns, and pretty every city stiffs the animal.
I hear somebody.
Yeah,
Domino.
But the last thing that towns and cities want to spend taxpayer dollars on. So most of these city shelters, including the LA County shelters in Los Angeles, are severely overfunded, and they also need donations. The rescuers are doing amazing work. The rescues are doing amazing work, but a lot of this work in disaster areas falls at the feet and in the hands of these poorly funded shelters.
Right.
So I
know Pasadena Humane said they needed money. They don't need anyone to give us more blankets. More, they need money right now. They are, and I see that they're doing surgeries, and they have doctors that donate time and all. And it's truly amazing. It's something we don't think about, right?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of care involved in most rescued animals, certainly the animals being rescued in Los Angeles right now, are suffering from a multitude of health conditions: burns, smoke inhalation, starvation, lack of water. And these things cost money to treat, and local shelters, government shelters, don't have that kind of money. So if one of the things you want to do is help the animals suffering in Los Angeles, and I'm speaking more of companion animals, not wild animals,
right?
Donate to Pasadena, but also donate to the city shelters.
Interesting. Okay.
The water, even before the wildfires. So pandemic hits, everybody's cooped up at home. What do? They buy a dog.
Right.
I'm board of a few animal rescues. I was on the board of an animal shelter out near where I live. We get owner surrenders day in and day out. Oh, gee, I bought a dog during the pandemic. I can't walk the dog, but I have to go to work.
Yeah.
And they're literally dumping healthy young animals, let alone the old animals that are frequently dumped at shelters.
Right.
So
yeah, I know that was a huge problem after the pandemic. That people just, they think they're buying a stuffed animal or something, and when the need is gone, well, just cast it aside.
I always like to.
Yeah, unlike David Tuchman, who is a victim of all this, and he and his wife and his kids looking for a place to, as I said when we started at the top of the show, to try to get them a house, and then the person would donate their house, but the dogs would have to stay in the backyard, and they didn't want that to happen. They wanted the dogs, together running around, and yet everyone's trying to do the best they can. That was a great offer. It was the best they can. But he's trying to, somebody took the turtle, somebody took the cat, somebody took the bunny. I mean, it's very difficult.
And hotels, I mean, during Sandy, we were without power.
That's right, Sandy.
7 days. I'm sure you were without power.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
2012.
12. Okay, so it was bad. And I had 4 dogs at the time. I literally had to drive into New York City to find a hotel that would take my husband, me, and our 4 dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some of them would take 1, nobody would take 4. So, and so with the shelters and the rescues were already overwhelmed. Here's a great example. My coworker recently adopted a beautiful purebred Bernedoodle from a rescue. And when she asked, why do you have this dog that normally would sell for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000? The answer was, you're gonna love this one, oversupply. Meaning they're commodities, they're bred, and if there's not enough people to buy, they end up dumped on the streets.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's awful. Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
My Mickey, who's hiding in the bedroom now, is poodle, Bernedoodle. I got him from a rescue, of course. And when I asked the rescue, why is he here?
Yeah.
The said, well, he doesn't look enough like a Bernedoodle, so they couldn't sell him. So
and here we are trying to find homes and say here's displaced people, and people are just dumping their dogs. But in California, there are people. Look, we've run like 3 ads with 3 different things showing people like rescuing dogs and trying to get their dogs and all. But then other people leaving their dogs there, or maybe they got left because they couldn't get into the fires. Remember, they were closed off. Another thing, I can't imagine if somebody closed me off and said I couldn't go in to go look for Tubi. I would probably need a criminal defense lawyer. I'd have to call you. Okay.
You'd go in anyway because
I'd go in anyway, right?
Yeah. And that's what I'm afraid of, that people are either going to do that, unfortunately, and find what they find, or they're going to do something that they might regret later because they're not being allowed to go to their own property.
Right.
I know they were presenting some sort of waivers initially, and then they just stopped doing it.
I think they got overwhelmed. I mean, there's just from the firefighters' perspective, their job is largely to protect humans and property.
Right.
Some are real miracle workers, and they've saved this. I'm sure you've seen all the videos of them.
Right. We ran one of them. Yeah.
But that's not what they're mainly there to do. And so they have to be concerned about letting people back into the high risk zones. Whereas, I mean, any of us here on this program, we'd risk our lives to go in and save.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
So let me just ask you, because you said, what can we do to let the government, when they're planning on these disasters, have a unit to deal with how you deal with the animals, whether it be the wildlife that's there or the animals that are part of a family. And again, I don't like to use the word pet, but most people can relate to that. The animals that are part of a family, because it's got to be 2 separate things. And what can we do to make the government aware, or to get the units set up within organizations to have them taken care of, so that when they are rescued and go to the Southern California Golden Rescue Organization, or go to the Pasadena Humane, they're going there because they have been taken care of.
But they have been taken care of, right? I mean, you look at FEMA, they don't know anything about animals, about saving animals, rescue. I'm not blaming them, but the law, the system is not there. So once things calm down, once we get the humans and the animals safe, once the fires are under control, we really need to start a petition, a letter writing campaign, tell people to contact their state, local, federal representatives, and demand that emergency procedures include evacuating, and even equally important, housing animals. I mean, there are people, as you know, Linda, on the streets of New York who won't go in shelters for the unhoused because they have nowhere to put their animals.
Right. I see it all the time, and I'm always stopping and giving money because I see it all the time. And those animals are keeping them alive.
Yeah, they're keeping them alive.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's vets that actually go into the streets and treat the animals for the unhoused, but it shouldn't be that. It should be that our government recognizes that for many of us, maybe most of us, animals are as much a family member as our mother, our children, our spouse, so our father. So we have to urge government officials to take the steps necessary to have shelters in place which allow people to come in with animals. I understand there's legal risks. Okay, I can't imagine if you are unhoused because your house burned down, you wouldn't sign a waiver saying, I won't sue FEMA if I get sued because my dog bites someone. People will do whatever it takes to protect their animals. So once this is over, that's going to be something I want to focus on.
Great. That's a great thing. That's a great thing, Bonnie, to bring. I really appreciate it. And we really, Michael and I were right in the East Coast. We have to get to know you, but we didn't.
Yes.
Oh my God. You just look her up. Just an amazing lawyer. Amazing. And the fact you're doing half of your time now to help the animals. I knew as soon as Donny said, you haven't talked, you've never met Bonnie Klapper. I said, no, you have to have her on because she will bring, she'll bring attention to these shelters and all that need help, and to the fact that we need more shelters so that people like Dave Tuchman and his family can go there. And that's why we're trying to do this. We're trying to have this tonight, and then we'll keep rerunning this, and hopefully people will open their pocketbooks to those shelters and their local shelters.
Yeah, and I said it early on, donate to your municipal shelters. Most people don't even municipal shelters are also 501c3s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Contributions for most of them are tax deductible. That's where the need is the greatest, because for example, there's a shelter out here. It's part private, part public. That shelter must take every single owner surrender.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
who's elderly dogs that need vet care, art pitties, dogs like that are less than adoptable, many of them. So, we say I'm very lucky. I have my vet is Dr. Alexander from Sag Harbor Vet. I'm going to give him a plug here. He's brilliant. He's vegan, and he also happens to be handsome. So,
wow.
I need.
Good thing you've locked your husband in the bedroom. That's for that plug.
But I he'll tell me my patients will complain about the cost of vet care. Most people don't know that the average vet graduates with 200% more debt than the average human doctor.
Wow.
But they don't make nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
And also veterinarians have a very high self-harm rate.
Yes, I know that. I know that because I had a vet down in New Jersey who that was an issue.
Yeah. And why? If you spend half of your career euthanizing animals and part of your career having people yell at you because it costs you, get health insurance. That's another thing I urge everybody.
Yep.
When you adopt your puppy or your senior dog, get health insurance. It doesn't cover the daily stuff, but if God forbid your dog gets cancer or is hit by a car, that stuff gets covered, and that's huge.
Yeah. Yep. Good idea. Good
Great
advice.
idea, Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie, so very much.
So nice to meet you.
Again. So nice to meet you, and hopefully we'll talk to you about some other stuff soon. Thank you very much for helping us in this quest tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
And then patiently waiting in the wings, Michael, unless you have another video.
I do, but
go ahead.
Wait. Not as patiently waiting in the wings is Domino, and I've been abandoned. So I hear him yelping at the door, which I'm pretty sure I know what that means. So what I'm gonna do is let's look at one of these videos. I'll excuse myself yet again, rudely. I'm sorry. And see which one we haven't.
And then we're going to bring, and then after we watch the video, we're going to bring.
We're bringing Peter.
The representative Peter, and is Gabby there? No, it's just Peter. I see, and Tamerlaine, representative of Tamerlaine Sanctuary and Preserve. But let's watch the video.
Here we go.
When the fires first started, Marin Humane Society cleared out its adoptable pets and moved them into other shelters to make room for the evacuees and the rescues, the four-legged kind. Well, now that the fire has started to calm down, some of those pets are being found and are being sent home.
Hi, it's Donny. How are you? Is this it? Yes.
We thought he was so gone.
They've been separated for the better part of a week during the worst of conditions. And in some cases, the human half of these pairs spent that time wondering if their animals even made it.
We were in a hotel, and when we heard our house burn down, we thought that he was dead.
So their reunions are the bright spot in an otherwise charred out several days. This family lost their home and thought their dog was lost with it. He wasn't.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to Marin Humane Society, both Bill the dog and Timothy the kitten are home in arms that won't be letting them go anytime soon.
He's purring so much.
He's glad to be home.
Yeah.
Others, like Jax, were brought to the shelter by their owners when they evacuated. Marin Humane handled the four-legged evacuees so the two-legged ones could worry about their homes, their family, and the future.
Thank you so much. You guys are honestly heaven sent.
At the fire's height, Marin Humane was housing 375 evacuated or rescued animals, all for free. That's now down to about 260, thanks to lots of scenes like these. The Marin Humane Society says they've seen an outpouring of support from the community. So at this point, they have enough dog beds and dog food, etc. What they do need is donations, so they are more than happy for that kind of support moving forward. On the Night Beat in Marin County, I'm Emily Turner.
Okay, so that was another incredible video of how people are helping, or how rescue organizations are helping, Michael. That was just really these videos. I mean, I could watch them all day. But right now, who's waiting in the wings has been somebody who I recently met. He happens to be a lawyer, doing another incredible lawyer. But he and his wife, Gabrielle, who I think has the flu, right, Peter Nussbaum?
She does indeed, which means I will have it tomorrow, most likely.
Most likely. I know. But thank you for being on. You both run the Tamerlaine, and we've put up, I think we're doing a link to it. I know you see we have a scroll going on. Tamerlaine Sanctuary and Preserve. It's in Montague, New Jersey. And you have been having a rescue mission for now and doing this for a while. But rather than me talk about it by reading off, your about page, why don't you tell us about it?
Sure. First of all, thank you guys so much for doing this. And it's great seeing you and Tubi again. And I was happy when I saw Tubi because this rescued 14-year-old blind bitey Shih Tzu would start barking if I didn't have him on my lap.
That's perfect. That's great. We love it. We're all for dogs here. I mean, that's that's why we're here.
He came to us about a year ago, and he was very bitey. Now he's a mush. He's he's unhappy unless he's in my lap. So yeah, we rescue abused, abandoned, neglected, displaced farm animals mostly. Although we have 24 rescued cats in addition to the cows and pigs and sheep and goats, and we are located about 60 miles from New York City. And I got to tell you, I feel slightly guilty talking about our situation when what's happening in Los Angeles is so devastating. But my wife grew up in Los Angeles. It was a second home for us for a long time. And we work with a lot of sanctuaries out there. And it's hard to imagine what's happening on the ground. Linda, you know that, when was it? About 3 weeks ago, a month ago, there were forest fires in New York. That were headline news. Headline news.
Right. I mean, we were driving through them and you couldn't breathe, and they were small compared to what's happening here.
It was blip, comparatively speaking. Right. And at our sanctuary, we were petrified and we were constantly monitoring, and we have an evacuation plan. And so I have so much empathy for the people on the ground in Los Angeles, our friends who are out there dealing with it. It's so important for sanctuaries to work together, and we do a big rescue every year that Donny's involved in, that Bonnie, your amazing guest before, has helped us with, where we rescue hundreds of animals from one particular situation every year, and we then transport them to sanctuaries all over the country. And it's so important to work together so that when there are events like this, catastrophes like this, there are people who can help each other, because most sanctuaries, ours, we have 300 rescued animals.
Wow.
We get calls to take in animals from horrible situations every day. And we can't say yes. If we said yes to every request, our sanctuary would look no different than the places that they come from, that the volume is so high. But we never say flat out no. We say, we can't, but we'll help you find someone else. And that's why it's so important when there is a catastrophe like this, that there are multiple sanctuaries to step in.
And that's one of the
And it
reasons why we
sounds like,
talk- okay.
I'm sorry,
No,
Linda, it sounds
no,
too,
no.
Peter, like people could offer up more than donations. They may have a place that can house an animal that needs that kind of help, right?
Yeah, for sure. We work with, we make sure that they're good homes. Of course, we want to be really careful, but there are plenty of private homes who we have homed animals with. But there are many sanctuaries like ours. We have the luxury of being 60 miles northwest of New York City. And there are a lot of people here who can come and visit and meet the animals. We work with school groups. A big focus of ours is education. The key to making the changes that Jane was talking about, that we in the animal rights vegan movement all talk about, is with the kids. Because, I'm looking at us. In our lifetime, will the planet change that dramatically? Well, I guess the answer is it already is. We see it. But there will be a planet. The planet will outlive us. But you look at the kids today, I don't know if you could say the same for all of them, and certainly not for their kids and their grandkids. And so it's so important to educate. The irony is, and I think Jane spoke to this, the irony is that animal agriculture is such a huge cause of all of the problems that we're seeing throughout the planet. And, the animals ultimately suffer as a result of not only being used in animal agriculture, but when these catastrophic events, whether it's fires or floods, the number of animals, I think 10,000 cattle, 10,000 cattle died in the forest fires in Texas last year.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's astronomical. And so, yeah, it's really important to educate young people, and that really is our focus, that and providing the best quality lifelong life, from we rescue babies, we rescue pregnant mothers, straight through geriatric care, and come and visit the sanctuary. It's really an incredible experience to meet these animals and get to experience them. A lot of the people who come and visit, they're meeting farm animals for the first time and thinking of them as something other than meat.
Yeah, that's,
or eggs
really
or dairy.
Okay. Well, speaking of meeting an animal, I have to go grab an animal real quick, and I'll be right.
He's got to grab Domino.
Again.
We have Tubi. Tubi's standing over here, as you can see. Tubi's just
Hi,
like
Tubi.
hanging out.
Tubi is beautiful.
Yeah, Tubi's hanging out, but he doesn't like to be like right. He was, Tubi's been trained, as you know, as a service dog to go at the table, to be under the thing. So he doesn't really like to hang right next here. That's not his thing. So but I tried. But he's got a mind of his own, because animals do. I mean, but David's situation, Dave Tuchman's situation, as I said, is what started this. Because I said, well, what can I do, buddy? What can I do? I mean, I started out just trying to find housing for him and his animals, right? That little thing, and then he found the housing through the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue Organization, and then the Pasadena Humane is now designated as where all the animals. But it's also, there's the big animals. You have the wild animals that you guys have so incredibly talked about, that they're burning. So we're talking about not only donating to these organizations right now, but looking in the future for the bigger picture. Donate to these organizations if you can open your wallets and all, but looking to the bigger picture about what we can do as a result of this being so big, and maybe because it affected the rich and powerful in our country, the people that have the $100 million mansions, maybe something can come of it, because it's not just the rich and power. The point is that it affected everybody working for a living, like David Tuchman, but they're the ones who they get lost in this. Them and their animals are lost.
Hey, you might have mentioned it, Peter, as I was getting my dog from outside there. Hey, by the way, just started snowing a little bit.
By the way,
I know. Domino, come here. Come here. Hop up. Come here. There you go. Hop up. There you go.
Another beauty.
Look at that doggy. Did you mention where is the sanctuary exactly?
So if you look at a map of New Jersey, the tippy top, we're the last town in New Jersey on the borders with Pennsylvania and New York. So we're in Montague, New Jersey, right next to Milford, Pennsylvania, and Port Jervis, New York, on the Delaware River.
Wow. So you're really close. I mean, that's really, you're close to everything up there.
Yeah,
and there's a great vegan restaurant in Port Jervis, New York, that I know we're not supposed to be touting restaurants, but there is a great vegan, right?
Yeah,
right?
I won't plug Fogwood and Fig because I know this isn't the proper place to be doing that, but it is a great restaurant.
But the point is that people are paying attention to animals. We want to be. I remember when NOLA was Sandy, right? Not Sandy. When was Sandy part of NOLA? No, when New Orleans. No, it was what was the hurricane?
That goes way back to
way back.
I was down there for
2005. That was the hurricane. Right, the hurricane and
Katrina.
And people.
Yeah,
that's
Katrina.
Right, Katrina. People were standing on top of the roofs with their animals, and they were being told they couldn't take their animals, and they refused to go.
Could you imagine? I mean, you would do the same.
Absolutely, I would not go without Tubi. I would. It'd be like on the Titanic with the lifeboats. If Tubi couldn't come, I'd be drowning with the rest of everybody. I'm going with him, and my husband, of course.
Yeah, and a distant second. It sounds like.
We have 300 Tubies at the sanctuary. So when we had those fires, we're really, we're pretty blessed and lucky, and I don't think any of us take it for granted in New York that we don't deal with 1/100th of the natural stuff that Southern California deals with. But yeah, it's super scary, and there are sanctuaries out there, and they're doing great work, and they've been involved in rescue through this. So yeah, support not only your local shelters but your local sanctuaries.
Yeah, and all of your local sanctuaries, because sanctuaries like Peter's also take in animals. So it's not just they work together with California, Tamerlaine Sanctuary and Preserve. That's the little logo. You can look them up. They have a beautiful website, education, advocacy. Check out their blog, Eating More Plants. And I have to tell you that Michael and I talk about this a lot because my husband's older, and his daughter, who's now a doctor, she was a vegetarian at the time that people were, you'd go and you'd be like freaky, right? To be one vegetarian in maybe a class of 300. But now everybody is either looking for, whether it's because they love animals or they want to be healthier, they're looking for a plant-based alternative here.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that the hardest part of being vegan for me in this day and age is having the self-control not to eat all of the amazing vegan junk food. There's so much deliciousness. There's no shortage of great vegan food. At my age, I have to be careful and try to eat the healthier vegan stuff, which is plentiful as well. But you give up nothing. People always say, how do you do it? How do you give up, all those great comfort foods? And I'm like, please take away all the great vegan comfort foods, and then my pants will start fitting again.
If you've ever had vegan ice cream, oh my gosh.
God, I had like a pint a day habit during COVID.
What is it, Lewin? Was it Lewin?
Well, Van Leeuwen, they're actually a client of mine, so I have an unlimited supply of Van Leeuwen. That's
amazing stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But Peter's also an amazing attorney in New Jersey. Again, look him up. You'll see that it's amazing because what he does as an attorney is different than what he's doing for Tamerlaine, but it's the same type of incredible mind and
passion for the subject, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm fortunate. I've been an attorney at the same law firm since the 1990s, and I love my job. It's my second full-time job. Well, it's my first full-time job. Thankfully, that job pays. This is a labor of love. My wife and I, we volunteer all of our time. It's her full-time job. Yeah. We don't take any salary, and we donate our own money, and we rely on support from others. We make up the difference between our massive operating expense, 300 animals, 15 employees. It's a serious operation. We make up the difference. The goal is just to decrease that difference because I'd like to retire maybe by the time I'm 95.
Oh, my husband's not retired yet.
No rush.
Get up and there's no rush with regards.
He's the coolest. He's the coolest.
Yeah,
coolest person I've met.
But I'm glad to see that you're working with groups like the groups in California, that you all have the same goals in mind. And as I said, this started a little small. Like, what can I do, buddy, to David, to try to get people to donate to right now to those organizations out there, and hopefully then we can branch all this out as we've been trying to do on the show. We, by the way, I should mention, did not take monetization. We turned that off on the show. We turned off all the ads because we thought that should be just to try to bring awareness, and we'll rerun the show over and over again tomorrow. We'll put it up on the Justice TV Served website so that people can then look at it. Again, no ads, no monetization for us, just kind of like you, because because the goal is to get money to organizations like this the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue and the Pasadena Humane Organization, and eventually organizations like yours, Peter and Gabby. I'm sorry you couldn't join us tonight.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
thank
hope she's feeling better.
Thank you very much. And really, thank you guys so much for doing this, and great to see you again and great to meet you, and hope to speak with you again.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we're going to have a very special guest. Our own
Thanks,
Missy
Peter.
Mayhem was a rescue animal. She's our producer.
Missy,
is Missy ready?
I know.
Missy and Pixie ready? Thank you,
Pixie,
Peter.
is Pixie there? Is Pixie ready?
There
No?
we go.
Almost.
No,
Well, that's not Pixie.
Not Pixie. This is Phoenix.
Welcome, Missy.
That's Peanut. Peanut and Pixie. Where'd Pixie go? Pixie's flown the coop.
She's on her way up.
Okay.
She's a very suspicious bird, so we're getting her to like come upstairs, and she's like, "Why do you want me upstairs?"
Yeah, what's going on?
What a great way to
Phoenix.
introduce you. You're usually behind the scenes with Dizzy or separately. You've been doing all the artwork for us.
Thank
Again,
Yep.
And what a great show to
It's
produce,
an honor.
one that has to do with rescue, because here's your rescue parrot. Pixie is coming, and you have it. Wait, what?
Hold on. She's on the way, but this is Phoenix. He's my little 13-year-old Chihuahua.
Oh.
And we've had him
15.
since 13. He just turned
okay.
13 in July. And then, come here, baby.
Oh, now look at
And
this.
this
This
is
is a rescue
Pixie.
parrot.
Look at that.
Rescue
She-
parrot. There we go.
She is a rescue. She is a monk parakeet, also called a Quaker parrot. They actually live in the wild here in the United States. There's actually a huge wild population in New York, for example.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can find them in Central Park.
Wow.
And into the city, yeah.
What was the rescue condition? What happened? What was going on?
So we have them in Austin. They're wild. They build a community nest, great big community nest that several of the different parrots will live in together. Unfortunately, they build them on light poles, cell phone towers, stuff like that. And because they're so intricate and huge, when they have to work on those utilities, they have to tear the nest apart. And so what was happening is they were tearing the nest apart, and not like the eggs were just getting dumped. And Austin, being kind of a tree hugging town, got very upset about it. So a wildlife rescue started taking the eggs and basically hatching them, fostering them. They did have a program at some point. I don't know if they still do, but she was given to me by a friend who was an intern at the time, but she was a college student. She couldn't take the bird, but they had so many babies. And she knows I'm a bird lover. So she was like, I have this opportunity to get a bird. And I was like, of course. Birds are actually, there's a big rescue community for birds because they live so long. This little girl, she's been with us about 4 years, but she can live to 20 to 30 years.
Oh my God.
Right. So even talking about the fire out in California, these birds they're also victims because I assume that they're in California also.
Yes.
So we were talking about not being able to, to start out with David with the golden retrievers and the turtle and the bunny and the cats and all, but you have all these wildlife that may be subject to being rescued pretty soon, right?
Yes, they are all over the country, and in some states they're actually illegal because they thrive in any conditions. They're originally from like the Central American kind of
warmer climate
area, and some states consider them like an invasive species because they can really survive anywhere. But they're definitely in California, and they've definitely been affected. I don't know, bird rescue, because people have to will them out. Bird rescue is a thing year round because owners die.
Right. I
the
know
birds out.
Right. What's the white parrot that everyone, the
The cockatoo.
Yeah, the cockatoo. And I know they live to be 70, 80 years old. They have to be willed.
Oh yeah, 60 plus years. Some of them. The bigger
African
birds.
gray is also a parrot that
African
lived
gray
for a long
also?
time. African gray.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cute little bugger.
Well, thank you, Missy. It was great that you produced this episode, and hopefully
It's my pleasure.
That we can get people to donate to Pasadena Humane Organization and California Golden Retriever Rescue Organization and all, as we keep rerunning the show on it, because people forget how important our animals are to us, except for Michael. Right?
Yeah. No, why would I forget? I wouldn't forget.
He won't ever forget. Not Domino. Never.
Thanks, Missy.
Thanks,
Thank
Missy.
you so much. This
We'll
is
see
a
you
pleasure.
around. All right, partner. Hopefully we've got some folks riled up about what's going on, and they can reach out and help out to all these different organizations we've highlighted, and there are many others. So use your imagination if those that we've highlighted don't do it for you, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there helping some animal that is close and near and dear to your hearts. So
And you have tried to, I'm going to take your line, you have tried to do the right thing tonight.
I think we both have, don't you think?
Yeah, I think
we have.
and everybody who has donated their time here. And, it just goes to show you that if you reach out to one person, like I reached out to David when I saw that he had no words about the kids' schools burning down, that maybe you can generate a movement, because without having at least one, and if we get one donation made to any of these organizations, that's one more than would have happened if we didn't.
Exactly. Yep. All right, then. Well, I think I will leave it then at that. We have a show coming up tomorrow. We're going to talk about the comments that come and go. We'd like to do that about once a month, give or take, and our person of the week, which might somehow be connected to what we've been talking about tonight, but I can't tell you that. So,
no, that's a surprise.
What time is that going to be? 6 o'clock tomorrow. We'll do that at 6 o'clock. And then, next week, there's some stuff going on the calendar. I was looking at it just a moment ago. Hold on. Might as well do a promo for what's happening next week. There are a number of issues with the Kohlberger case. They've just released a date and hearing time to talk about a future hearing. And what they're going to do is decide what should and shouldn't be public in that second hearing. So on Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday, they're basically, remember there's a holiday Monday for a lot of folks, not just Inauguration Day, but it is MLK Day. So on Tuesday, they're having a hearing in Kohlberger to determine what Thursday's hearing will be public and what part won't be public. So anyway, among other things, and obviously
a lot going on. We have like 7 or 8 different things going on. It's almost hard to pick from all of the I shouldn't say justice related, because some of it's not really crime related, and justice related.
And I can't wait to use. I got the Starlink Mini here. It's ready. It's totally portable now. Who knows where I'm going to show up and where we're going to be broadcasting from, but it is liberating. I'll tell you that. So I can't wait to get into that.
Well, thank you. All right. So you've done the right thing. Hopefully all of you out there will do the right thing. We all together are Justice Served TV. And if you like our show, please subscribe, like, share, and hit that notify button. See you tomorrow night.